The unspoken truth. Why are there not more people talking about parental regret? Society paints a picture of beaming parents, cherishing every moment. But what about the whispers behind closed doors? The silent struggles masked by forced smiles? What about the parents who dare to admit the unthinkable? Regret. The truth is, parental regret exists. It festers in the shadows, silenced by shame and societal judgment. We're conditioned to believe that parenthood is a one-way street paved with unconditional love and unwavering fulfillment. Deviation from this narrative is deemed taboo, an unforgivable transgression, but reality is far more complex. Parenthood, for all its rewards, can be a crucible of exhaustion, sacrifice, and yes, even regret. This video dares to delve into this uncomfortable truth. It gives voice to the unspoken anxieties that plague countless parents, hidden beneath a veneer of normalcy. We'll explore the societal pressures that perpetuate this silence, the guilt and fear that keep parents from seeking help. This is not a condemnation of parenthood, it's an honest exploration of its complexities, a recognition of the unspoken struggles. The mask we wear. Why are there not more people talking about the reality behind those perfect family photos? We've all seen the curated perfection on social media, the glossy photos of smiling families, the captions overflowing with gratitude. But how often do these portrayals reflect the messy, complicated reality of parenting? The answer, more often than not, is rarely. Parents, under immense pressure to conform to societal ideals, craft a public persona of blissful contentment. The fear of judgment is a powerful silencer. Admitting to regret is perceived as a failure, a betrayal of the sacred covenant of parenthood. So we bite our tongues, suppressing the doubts and anxieties that simmer beneath the surface. We become masters of disguise, projecting an image of unwavering joy while grappling with our own internal turmoil. This facade, however, comes at a cost. The relentless pressure to maintain this charade can lead to isolation, resentment, and a profound sense of disconnection. It prevents parents from seeking support, from acknowledging their own struggles and seeking solace in shared experiences. Behind closed doors, the mask begins to slip. The exhaustion becomes palpable, the resentment simmers, and the longing for a different life emerges. It's in these private moments that the truth dares to surface, that the weight of unspoken regret becomes unbearable. Unmasking regret. You need to watch this if you struggle with regret. Regret, in its purest form, is a yearning for something different. It's a longing for a path not taken, a life left behind. In the context of parenthood, it's not necessarily a rejection of the child, but a mourning for the life surrendered. It's the ache of unfulfilled dreams, the weight of sacrifices made, the quiet whisper of what if. This regret can manifest in myriad ways. It can be the crushing weight of financial burden, the suffocating loss of personal identity, the yearning for a career abandoned. It can be the feeling of being touched out, the exhaustion that permeates every aspect of life, the longing for solitude in a house teeming with noise. Acknowledging these feelings, however, is often met with resistance. We're quick to dismiss them as selfish, as a betrayal of the love we're supposed to feel. We're told to buck up, to remember how lucky we are to have children, to be grateful for what we have. But what if suppressing these emotions is more damaging? What if acknowledging regret is not a sign of failure, but a courageous step toward honesty and self-awareness?
North and South medley.
The perfect family portrait. Are you afraid to admit your life isn't perfect? Meet Sarah. From the outside, her life seemed perfect. A loving husband, 3 kids, and a beautiful home. Her social media showcased family holidays and baking triumphs. A formidable lawyer, Sarah's ambition was unmatched, but holding her firstborn changed everything. She chose motherhood over her career, embracing her new role with conviction. Her days filled with nurturing her children. Her husband, Mark, supported her decision. Their family life seemed idyllic. Friends and family praised her dedication. Sarah's smile never wavered. Beneath the surface, a subtle shift was occurring. The relentless demands of motherhood began to take their toll. The intellectual stimulation of my legal career was replaced by nursery rhymes and bedtime stories. The once sharp edges of my personality softened beneath the weight of domesticity. The cracks in my carefully constructed facade began to show. The unraveling. You need to watch this if you struggle with the daily grind. The breaking point came, as it often does, in the most mundane of settings.
Sarah found herself trapped in the daily school-run traffic jam, the air thick with frustration. The children bickered incessantly, their voices grating on my nerves. A wave of nausea washed over me, my heart pounding. I struggled to draw breath, my fingers tingling.
Panic seized her. She pulled the car over, trembling, tears streaming down her face. The children fell silent, their eyes wide with concern.
Surrounded by chaos, the truth crashed over me. I regretted this. I regretted the life I had chosen, the sacrifices I had made.
The weight of whispers. Why are there not more people talking about the shame that was unbearable, a heavy cloak beneath her forced smiles? Sarah retreated into herself, her silence a shield against judgment.
My friends, consumed by parenthood, seemed oblivious to my struggle. I envied their easy camaraderie, their effortless embrace of motherhood.
Conversations, once a solace, now reminded her of isolation. She withdrew from gatherings, desperate to avoid probing questions.
My relationship with Mark became strained under my unspoken burden. He sensed my withdrawal, but his attempts were met with silence.
Fear kept her lips sealed, afraid of shattering their perfect life.
Night after night, Sarah lay awake, her mind racing. The guilt was relentless, whispering insidious doubts in my ear. I was a failure, a fraud, unworthy of the love lavished upon me.
The longing for escape. I don't think people understand the depth of despair that can lead to a dangerous thought taking root.
It started as a fleeting notion, a whisper at the edge of my consciousness, but it grew with each passing day, fueled by my exhaustion and resentment. Escape.
The word echoed in the silence of her thoughts, a beacon of hope in the darkness. She imagined a life unburdened by the relentless demands of motherhood, a life where her time was her own, where she could reclaim the sharp edges of her intellect, the ambition that once fueled her.
I pictured myself traveling the world, my passport filled with exotic stamps, my mind brimming with new experiences. The guilt, though ever present, lost some of its potency in the face of this alluring fantasy.
She knew deep down that these thoughts were taboo, the antithesis of everything a mother should feel. But the longing for freedom, for a life lived on her own terms, was too powerful to ignore. The Parenthood Mandate. I don't think people understand the true weight of the Parenthood Mandate. From adulthood, the expectation to reproduce begins its subtle drumbeat. It's woven into societal norms, equating parenthood with fulfillment and worth. We're bombarded with images of beaming families, their happiness seemingly effortless. This pressure shapes our life choices, manifesting in loaded questions from relatives. It's reflected in the workplace, where parents are seen as more stable. Yet, the sacrifices of parenthood, financial, emotional, and time, are often glossed over. Many embark on parenthood without fully comprehending the magnitude of the commitment. They are ill-prepared for the all-consuming nature of raising a child. The illusion of effortless joy. You need to hear this if you're a parent. Compounding this societal pressure is the pervasive myth of effortless parental joy. We're fed a steady diet of idealized portrayals of parenthood, the blissful snuggles, the infectious giggles, the unwavering bonds of familial love. Social media, with its carefully curated highlight reels, only serves to amplify this illusion, showcasing picture-perfect families living seemingly idyllic lives. This constant barrage of curated happiness creates an unrealistic standard, leaving many parents feeling inadequate and ashamed when their own experiences fail to measure up. The exhaustion, the frustration, the moments of doubt and resentment. These emotions are deemed unacceptable, brushed aside as personal failings rather than normal human responses to the challenges of raising children. This fear of judgment, of being perceived as ungrateful or unfit, prevents many parents from acknowledging their true feelings even to themselves. They suffer in silence, their internal struggles hidden behind forced smiles and carefully crafted facades of contentment. This societal conspiracy of silence only serves to perpetuate the myth of effortless joy, leaving countless parents feeling isolated and alone in their struggles. It creates a culture where vulnerability is equated with weakness, where seeking help is seen as a sign of failure rather than a courageous act of self-care. The price of silence. Why are there not more people talking about this? The societal pressure to conform to an idealized vision of parenthood, coupled with the fear of judgment and the lack of open dialogue, extracts a heavy toll. Parents who harbor feelings of regret often find themselves trapped in a cycle of shame and silence, their emotional well-being eroded by the weight of their unspoken truths. This suppression of genuine emotions can manifest in myriad ways: anxiety, depression, relationship problems, and a diminished sense of self-worth. It can lead to resentment towards their children, their partners, and even themselves, further compounding their feelings of guilt and inadequacy. Moreover, this culture of silence prevents parents from accessing the support and understanding they need to navigate the complexities of their emotions. They are deprived of the opportunity to connect with others who share similar experiences, to realize that their feelings are not uncommon, that they are not alone in their struggles. Breaking this silence is crucial, not only for the well-being of individual parents, but also for the health of families and society as a whole. It's time to dismantle the unrealistic expectations, to create space for honest conversations about the challenges of parenthood, and to offer support and compassion to those who dare to speak their truth. The sacrificed dream. I bet you didn't know how much a dream can change. Mark, Sarah's husband, had always marched to the beat of a different drum. His soul, wired for music, found solace in the melodic chords of his cherished guitar.
Before the whirlwind of fatherhood swept me into its chaotic embrace, I had harbored dreams of musical grandeur. Then came the news that changed everything. They were having twins. The joy was undeniable, a tidal wave of love and anticipation that washed over them.
The arrival of their twin boys, Ethan and Oliver, was a joyous occasion. Their tiny fingers wrapped tightly around Mark's own, anchoring him to a reality he could never have imagined. He embraced fatherhood with a tenderness that surprised even himself, his heart swelling with each coo and gurgle. The growing distance. Why are there not more people talking about the growing distance between parents? The demands of twin newborns proved relentless. Sleep became a luxury, nights a symphony of cries and feeds. Sarah leaned heavily on Mark for support.
My days, once filled with music, were now consumed by keeping two tiny humans alive. The guitar lay gathering dust, a silent witness to my transformation.
Late-night jam sessions became a distant memory. The music, once a life force, was now a faint echo. He'd gaze out of the window, dreams fading into the distance. The vibrant, creative soul felt suffocated by responsibility.
I loved my sons, yet felt a part of me slipping away.
The distance between Mark and Sarah began to widen. Conversations now revolved around childcare and exhaustion. The spark in their relationship had dwindled to a flicker. The web of resentment. You need to watch this if you struggle with unspoken resentment. One particularly grueling evening, the weight of Mark's unspoken resentment threatened to crush him. The twins had been particularly demanding, their cries echoing through the house like a siren song of need. Sarah, at her wit's end, had retreated to the sanctuary of their bedroom, her sobs muffled by the pillow.
I loved my sons, I truly did, but in that moment, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd made a terrible mistake. I yearned for my old life, the freedom, the passion, the pursuit of my own dreams.
He reached for his phone, his fingers trembling with a mixture of anger and despair. He scrolled through his contacts, his eyes landing on a familiar name. Liam, his former bandmate.
I'm trapped. I gave it all up for this, and I'm not sure it was worth it.
His thumb hovered over the send button, the weight of his decision heavy in the air. In that moment, the years seemed to melt away. He could almost hear the opening chords of their most popular song, feel the energy of the crowd surging towards him. A single tear rolled down his cheek, a testament to the dreams he'd sacrificed, the life he'd left behind. The unseen burden. You need to hear this if you're a parent. Just then, a small hand reached out, tugging at his shirt sleeve. He looked down into the innocent eyes of his son, Ethan. The anger that had been simmering inside him evaporated, replaced by a wave of protectiveness so fierce it took his breath away. So he swallowed his resentment, pushing it down into the depths of his being, where it festered like a wound denied air. Mark continued to play his role, the dutiful husband, the loving father, but a part of him remained detached, lost in the labyrinth of his unspoken grief. The isolation of unspoken regret. You need to watch this if you struggle with feelings of regret as a parent. For parents grappling with regret, the path forward can seem shrouded in a thick fog of shame and isolation. The societal taboo surrounding such feelings often leaves them feeling trapped, unable to confide in those they love for fear of judgment or worse, rejection. They bear their burden in silence, their internal dialogue a relentless loop of self-recrimination and doubt. The constant demands of childcare can make it difficult to confront their own complex emotions. The absence of open dialogue about parental regret exacerbates this isolation. Without validation from others, parents can feel alone in their struggles. This perceived isolation can damage their mental health and well-being. Breaking the stigma and creating supportive spaces is imperative. Support groups, online forums, and therapy can be invaluable lifelines. Knowing they are not alone can be a powerful step towards healing. Untangling the Threads. You need to hear this if you're a parent struggling with regret. Parental regret often gets tangled with the concept of failure. Society frames deviations from joyful parenthood as personal shortcomings. This can lead parents to internalize regret as inadequacy. Regret is a longing for a different path, not a failure. It acknowledges life's complexity and the coexistence of love and longing. Reframing regret as growth helps parents approach their feelings with compassion. It empowers them to seek support and make positive changes. Elena and Tom's story began like many others, a whirlwind romance, a shared dream of a family home filled with laughter. Yet, beneath the surface, a silent storm was brewing. The arrival of their daughter, Chloe, brought unforeseen challenges.
I embraced motherhood with open arms, but a quiet desperation began to creep into my heart.
Tom felt the squeeze of professional pressure. At home, he was a ghost marked by an empty chair.
The distance between us stretched into a vast chasm. Our conversations, once vibrant, were now strained.
The joy they'd once found became a distant memory. A fragile truth, carefully unveiled. What's something people don't know about family holidays? The breaking point came during a seemingly innocuous family holiday. They'd rented a charming cottage by the sea, hoping to recapture a sliver of their former happiness. But the tension, like a thick fog, followed them, seeping into every corner of their idyllic escape.
One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I couldn't bear the weight of my unspoken truth any longer. Tears streamed down my face as I confessed my regret to Tom, my voice barely a whisper above the crashing waves.
Tom, initially taken aback by the raw honesty of her words, listened intently. For the first time in years, we saw each other, truly saw each other, beneath the weight of our shared regret. Their conversation marked a turning point, a fragile truth carefully unveiled, paving the way for healing and a renewed understanding of their shared journey. The courage to restructure. Why are there not more people talking about the courage to restructure? The road to redemption was paved with honesty, compromise, and a willingness to challenge their lives.
We acknowledged our situation was no longer serving us or our daughter.
With a therapist, they began deconstructing their life, examining each brick.
We explored shared custody, initially filled with guilt and failure.
They saw it as an opportunity rather than a loss.
I enrolled in a graphic design course, my heart thrumming with excitement.
She relished the intellectual stimulation and camaraderie of fellow creatives.
Freed from pressure, I embraced my role as a father with renewed enthusiasm.
He cherished his time with Chloe, creating memories filled with laughter and adventure.
I rediscovered the joy in simple things. Bedtime stories, building sandcastles, the sheer wonder in my daughter's eyes as she explored the world around her.
Their home transformed into a sanctuary of shared parenting.
We navigated co-parenting with open communication and a shared commitment to Chloe.
They embraced a more fluid, adaptable approach to family life. Reclaiming lost melodies, rediscovering shared rhythms. You need to watch this if you struggle with finding balance in relationships. As Elena rediscovered her passion for design and Tom embraced fatherhood, their relationship shifted remarkably.
Resentment dissipated, replaced by respect and admiration.
They celebrated successes, offered support, and found joy in each other's company.
Conversations filled with laughter and genuine interest.
Rediscovering joy and shared silences.
Love emerged stronger, resilient.
Not a fairy tale, but tempered by experience, forging a new path together.
Admitting regret is self-awareness, a step to growth.
Their story shows honesty, vulnerability, and courage to challenge norms.
Embracing regret as a catalyst, a reminder that in adversity, even with unexpected turns, harmony can be found again.
The courage to break the silence. What's something people don't know about the silent struggles of parenthood? The stories shared in this video are not isolated incidents. They echo a silent epidemic, a chorus of whispers from parents confronting the taboo of regret. These narratives share a common thread, the courage to break the silence. For too long, societal expectations have stifled honest conversations about parenting. Breaking this silence requires a collective shift in perspective. It's about acknowledging the full spectrum of human experience. A new dawn. You need to hear this if you're a parent struggling with the weight of expectations. The decision to have children is deeply personal and should be approached with thoughtful consideration. Parenthood is not a one-size-fits-all path to fulfillment. It's about making informed choices that align with personal values and capacity. Imagine a world where parents feel empowered to speak openly about their struggles. This is the new dawn we must strive for, where honesty and vulnerability are celebrated. Thank you for watching till the end. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. If you are impacted by the message in this video, please comment in the section below.